Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and this is the channel where I went to business school so you didn't need to, and today we are talking about SoFi Technologies and Palantir Technologies. In this video, we're going to be analyzing a plethora of articles, to where the first one is titled, Is SoFi stock a buy right now? Then we're going to move on, and the remainder of the video is going to be about Palantir Technologies regarding why it has pulled back in their overall share price, which is exactly what I predicted would happen in previous videos, and a lot of people were doubting me on that, but clearly every time a share price of a stock increases dramatically, a pullback or a cool off is necessary afterwards. We're going to be going over a recent partnership that Palantir entered into with Azule Energy, which I briefly touched on earlier in my stock market news updates video. Then we're going to talk about how Cathie recently purchased around $14 million worth of Palantir's PLTR shares. And then after that, we're going to go over a slightly bearish article to where this financial reporter lowered his overall rating from a buy rating for Palantir Technology stock down to a hold rating. And then lastly, we're going to round out the video with a very positive article pertaining to a Palantir bull, saying that Palantir can justify their current valuation due to their growth prospects and the future of artificial intelligence. So for more videos on SoFi Technologies or Palantir Technologies, don't forget to go and annihilate that like button right now, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe if you are new, don't forget to become a member of this channel for as little as 99 cents because that's what keeps me here on YouTube. And I want to give a shout out to all of my existing members. Thank you so much. That literally keeps me here because this content can only be found on YouTube. So with that being said, I say let's dive right into today's stories. SoFi Technologies, if you didn't know, is a fintech company or a financial technology company that essentially operates as a digital bank. Recently, in their earnings report, they brought in very impressive revenues, specifically their net revenue of $498 million, up 37% year over year, with a small net loss of only $48 million, which I anticipate will go to zero and then actually turn to a positive, to where this company is going to become GAAP profitable later in the year. On top of that, SoFi Technologies' share price has surged based on better than expected results, which sent the share price soaring by more than 20%. So as of late, the headlines for SoFi Technologies have been very positive based on their financial results, but I'm actually more interested in their member growth because their member base increased by 44%, and on top of that, the CEO of SoFi Technologies still believes that they will become GAAP profitable by Q4, meaning that that net loss is going to literally go to zero and then start to become positive, which is going to be phenomenal for the overall share price. Speaking of the share price, this company currently trades for $8.87 per share, while analysts on the lower end believe the company could fall down to around $3 per share, while professionals believe the company could surge up to $16 over the next 12 months. Now, what I really like about SoFi Technologies is that despite negative macroeconomic outlooks from a plethora of various financial institutions, it's interesting to see SoFi Technologies still succeed, because even as interest rates are increasing right now and have soared, this has not really impacted SoFi Technologies that much due to their overall products, because the company still originated around 37% more loans, with personal loans being the bulk of those originations, which is good news for this company. Despite SoFi's upbeat earnings report and a lot of other positive news coming out about the company, the macroeconomic environment, specifically revolving around the United States economy, has dampened some investors' view of the overall finance space. And that would include SoFi Technologies. But for me, I think the US economy is blistering back. I am not scared of a recession at all, because A, it either gives me a fantastic buying opportunity to buy companies that I want to buy anyway, or the fact that I don't think we're going to enter into a recession again, because the economy and the stock market actually look extremely strong right now. But let's look at their overall valuation currently. SoFi stock's monumental run-up in 2023 has been very impressive. However, it has pushed their price-to-sales ratio up to a 4.7, which is higher than their historical 4.3 PS multiple. However, I'm okay with that because I think their growth rate more than sufficiently substitutes and justifies these higher PS ratios. So for investors who are more interested in the growth story of this company, and if they're banking on this company becoming profitable over the next quarter or two, this company is going to be phenomenal to hold during that time, despite its higher valuation. I also like how the company has actually pulled back in their overall share price, which I predicted in a previous video, and as you can see, we were 100% right about that, meaning that since the company is cooling off right now on the downtrend, that is the time to purchase shares, as long as you are already not overexposed to more than a 5% initial portfolio allocation, because again, we still want to practice proper risk management here. But overall, I would say SoFi Technologies is doing phenomenal right now. But now let's move to the main story, which is Palantir Technologies and why they are pulling back. So far, they have already dropped over 16% because I've warned people that a pullback was coming for this overall company and no one really was believing me. But now clearly, again, I can be proven right by the stock chart. Right now, Palantir's PLTR shares trade for $15.56, while very bearish analysts believe this company is worth around $5, while others believe it could surge as high as $25. Palantir Technologies, if you didn't know, is a big data and analytics company which serves both commercial enterprises as well as government clients, and they also specialize in artificial intelligence. The main news coming out about Palantir Technologies right now is their partnership with Azule Energy, and Azule Energy focuses on oil. Right now, they currently are managing 200,000 barrels of oil every single day in oil production. However, with Palantir's help, they believe that they can grow this up to 250,000 barrels per day, which is literally a quarter of 1 million, which is phenomenal. So I think this is an amazing partnership for Palantir Technologies, except we don't know how long this partnership would be. The only thing that we know right now is that it's a multi-year partnership, and we also don't know how much money is involved with this partnership, but I could only imagine it's going to be a lot. Azule Energy is going to be utilizing Palantir Technologies' Foundry platform to make their overall company more effective and efficient, and this is another win for Palantir Technologies. So even though the PLTR share price is pulling back right now, just as we predicted, there is still good news coming out about this company, which should take hold later. More good news is that as Palantir dips, Cathie Wood has actually bought more shares, close to $14 million worth. Cathie Wood of ARK Invest, or ARK Investment Management, has purchased nearly $14 million worth of Palantir Technologies. Palantir used to be a favorite of Cathie Wood until she completely liquidated her stock and then ended up buying back a few months ago, to where she recently purchased 818,373 shares of Palantir Technologies. And she did this at a closing price of around $17.04. So in my opinion, she bought a little early and did not wait for the pullback, so clearly she's not watching my videos. However, it is good to see that a prominent investor is buying SoFi shares around the current price point. In other news, we have this financial reporter downgrading his overall rating for Palantir Technologies from a buy rating down to a hold rating. He says that we're downgrading Palantir from a buy to a hold after their Q2 2023 earnings results. So let's talk about exactly why that is, and then after we talk about his overall thought process, we're going to move on to a more bullish article. He says his downgrade is due to the company being currently overhyped right now, because he had a buy rating on this stock back when the PLTR stock was trading at just $8.47 per share, but since then, the company has hit a 52-week high of $20.24, increasing by 97%, crushing the S&P 500 by around 85%. And like we talked about in a previous video, after a surge in the overall share price very high, a pullback is imminent, which is what we're experiencing right now, which is why I personally gave this company a hold rating. So it's funny to see how other professionals are finally catching up to my original ratings. I also want to make sure that you understand that this financial reporter, as well as myself, are not a bear for this company. We are both bulls, and we own Palantir Technologies in our personal portfolio, except we have a problem about buying companies at a very high valuation, or when a company's stock price is overpriced, meaning that we are getting a bad deal. I am an investor, so I want to get these companies for as cheap as I can, and I want to keep them for the long term so they can build me value. Another reason why this guy decreased his overall rating from a buy to hold was he sees a high risk profile for the stock in the second half of 2023 due to macroeconomic uncertainty, especially pressuring their commercial and government revenue. Now, I would actually disagree with him on this. I think the economy is actually bouncing back very well, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of macroeconomic uncertainty going forward. Now, clearly, there's always something to gripe about in the market, but overall, I would say we are in a much more bullish position than we were last year. That's why this financial reporter recommends that investors wait for macroeconomic weakness and to buy shares on a pullback, which is exactly what I said to do. Therefore, this guarantees a favorable entry point for you to keep this company over the long term. He also highlights how Wall Street is more bearish on this overall company than other companies. Out of 17 analysts covering this company, 3 of them say to buy the company, 7 of them say to hold, and the remaining 7 say to sell PLTR stock. Now, let me disagree with these analysts. Palantir Technologies is not a selling company. In my opinion, you should not sell this company because the future of this company, especially in artificial intelligence, is absolutely insane. However, in the meantime, I would completely agree with the hold analysts, so we can wait for this company to pull back between $14 and $15, which would allow us further upside in the future once the stock appreciates more. So therefore, this investor recommends that investors stay on the sidelines for now until they can identify a proper entry point once this pullback is completely priced in, and honestly, overall, I would agree with him. But now let's talk about someone who's saying to double down on Palantir stock right now. He's saying that Palantir could have an incredible growth runway, and let me tell you, I agree with him. I think Palantir is able to achieve a 20% compounding annual growth rate in regards to the revenue for the next half or full decade, and he would agree. He says that Palantir could have an incredibly long growth runway, bringing in double-digit revenue growth between 20 to 30% for the next 5 to 10 years. And since Palantir continues to improve on their overall profitability and sustainability, I think this is going to be a very good long-term investment, and I do agree with him in that regard. However, I've said in past videos that Palantir is trading at a premium, and this bullish author would agree, except he thinks that the company deserves this premium multiple, to where he says the stock price should literally be able to go even higher. So let's see his justification for this. Essentially, he says that due to Palantir's market cap of around $36 billion, it makes it the 498th largest company by market cap, and I would actually 100% agree with him on that, which I believe will lead to Palantir being added to the S&P 500 once they achieve their fourth profitable quarter. For this year, Palantir is anticipated to bring in a total of $2.21 billion worth of revenue, and this stock looks poised for future growth, but my problem is that they have a 17 times sales expectation or a 17 times PS ratio on a forward basis. Going back to SoFi Technologies, SoFi has a PS ratio lower than 5, so Palantir is trading at a 3 times higher PS ratio, even though SoFi Technologies is growing way faster than they are. Say that Palantir is going to bring in $3.18 billion in 2025, which would lower their overall PS ratio to close to around 10 to 12. And this suggests a relatively inexpensive valuation for Palantir. Now, I wonder where I've heard that from. Oh wait, my own videos. Literally, I've said countless times that I have purchased Palantir below a 10 PS ratio. That would be the best time to get in on this overall company. And this author says the same thing, except he is just willing to wait until 2025 to do what I did back in 2021 and some of 2022. But I do agree with this author that the long-term prospects for this company are absolutely phenomenal. He has stock price targets for this company that you should be aware of. He says that Palantir is going to hover around $16 for the remainder of 2023, rise to $25 in 2024, reach $35 in 2025, exceed $45 to $46 in 2026, surge to $61 by 2027, be worth $80 in 2028, and then capping out at $99 in 2029. Here you can see their overall revenues, their revenue growth rates, their earnings per share, and everything is projected out. The only thing I would say about this is that you need to take this with a grain of salt. Anything a year from today is very hard to project. And this would also be assuming very high price to sales multiples and a very high price to earnings ratio, which I personally am not comfortable with. But overall, me and this author would both agree that the long-term prospects for Palantir Technologies are completely intact and that they have a very bright future despite what analysts are saying. So with that being said, I would love to hear your thoughts down below about SoFi Technologies and Palantir Technologies. Go ahead and like the video right now, subscribe if you are new, don't forget to become a member of this channel, and with that being said, I will see you in the next YT video.